Welcome to PigCHAMP University. In this training session, you will learn how to establish production targets and set site settings for your reproductive farm in the PigCHAMP program. The PigCHAMP Reproductive module allows the user to define specific settings and targets for each farm site registered in the program. Through the Site Settings and Targets function of the program, you can establish reproductive herd targets, cull flags, units of measurement, and data entry settings. Select the reproductive farm you wish to modify targets and other settings for from the Registered Farms list. Next, click on the Farms menu and select Targets and Other Settings from the drop-down menu. The Site Settings and Targets screen will appear. Production targets are used to set goals, warnings, and report comparisons of actual versus target production numbers. By default, each category will have a predetermined target value based on the data collected through the PigCHAMP benchmark program. To edit a target value, simply click in the text field, delete the current value, and type in the desired value. If needed, click on the plus sign in front of Sow Reproductive Herd Targets to expand the list of target options. Select Inventory. The sow herd size is the most critical farm target to set for each farm. This is the average number of sows in the herd. The default value is 1,300 sows. The sow-to-boar ratio is the number of sows to one boar. The default value is 0. The sow-to-gilt ratio is the number of sows to one gilt. The default value is 20 sows per one gilt. The sow-to-retained gilt ratio is the number of sows per retained gilt. This default value is 0. Boar inventory, gilt inventory, and retained gilt inventory will appear in red on the right-hand side of the screen. These numbers are calculated based on sow inventory and the selected ratios. Once you've established your inventory targets, click on Services from the tree view. Here you will establish service targets. The repeat rate is the percentage of services that are classified as returns to service or rebreeds. The default is 10%. Gilt services is the percentage of first service females that are classified as gilts, meaning the female is being bred for the very first time. The default is 20%. Weaned sow services is the percent of first service females that have a complete weaning as their most recent previous event. The default is 70% and cannot be edited by the user without editing other values. AI-only matings is the percentage of services that are bred by means of only artificial insemination. The default is 0%. Natural-only matings is the percentage of services that are bred by means of only a physical boar. This default value is also 0%. Mix of AI and natural matings is the percentage of services in which the female is bred with a combination of both a natural boar and artificial insemination. The default value is 100%. This value cannot be independently altered by the user. Multiple mating services is the percentage of females who have more than one mating in the service period. The default value is 90%. Solo services is the percentage of females who only have one mating in the service period. The default value is 0%. Bred by 7 days after weaning is the percentage of sows that were bred within 7 days after a complete weaning event. This default value is 88%. Matings per service is the average number of matings in each service period. The default is 2.3. Matings per boar per week is the average number of matings a boar performs in 7 days. The default value is 3.5. Gilt acclimatization period is the average number of days that a female resides in the herd prior to being available for service. This default value is 75 days. Once service targets have been established, click on Farrowing in the tree view. This will allow you to enter farrowing targets for your farm. Average live born per litter is the average number of piglets born alive in each litter. This default value is 11 pigs. Average stillborn per litter is the average number of piglets born dead in each litter. The default value is 0.9 pigs. Average mummified per litter is the average number of piglets born as mummies in each litter. The default value is 0.3 pigs. The average piglet birth weight is that of an individual piglet. The default value is 3.4 pounds. The average gestation length is the number of days between an effective service and a farrowing event. This number must be greater than 108 days and less than 126 days. By default, the value is set for 115 days. This target is extremely important because the due to farrow dates on sow cards, action lists, and other reports are projected based on your average gestation length. Farrowing index is the average number of litters born per sow per year. The default value is 2.4. Farrowing rate is the number of sows farrowed as a percentage of sows served within the specified time period. The default value is 84%. Average litter weight is the average live born per litter multiplied by average piglet birth weight. The default value is 37.4 pounds and cannot be independently edited within the program. Services per week represents the number of sow services performed each week. It is the herd inventory multiplied by the farrowing index divided by the farrowing rate divided by 52.18. The default value is 71. This value cannot be independently altered in the program. Farrowings per week represents the average number of sows that farrow in a 7-day period. It is the targeted number of services per week multiplied by the farrowing rate. The default value is 60 and it cannot be independently edited. Once you have established farrowing targets, select piglet losses from the tree view. The targets in this section are expressed as a percentage of the born alive for the time period. A loss under 2 days old is a percentage of piglets that are less than 2 days of age when found dead. The default value is 6%. A loss between 2 and 8 days old is the percentage of piglets who die between 2 days and 8 days of age. The default value is 3%. A loss over 8 days old is the percentage of piglets that are found dead 9 days or more after birth. The default value is 1%. Total piglet losses represents the total number of piglets lost, expressed as a percentage of born alive in the time period. The default value is 10%, and it cannot be independently altered. Once you establish piglet loss targets, choose weaning from the tree view. Lactation length is the average number of days between a farrowing and a complete weaning event. The default value is 20 days. Piglets' age at weaning is the number of days from the birth of a litter of piglets to the weaning or removal from the sow. It can also be the number of days from a nurse sow event to a weaning event. The default value is 18 days. Average piglet wean weight is that of a piglet who had a weight entered at weaning. The default value is 12 pounds. Nurse sows weaned is the number of sows, expressed as a percentage, with a status of nurse sow at the time of complete weaning in the time period. The default value is 0. Substandard weaned is the number of piglets, expressed as a percentage of total pigs weaned, who are of lesser quality than you would like on your farm at the time of weaning. The default value is 0%. Weaned per litter is the number of piglets weaned in each litter. This is calculated by taking the target number of pigs weaned divided by the target number of sows weaned. The default value is 9.9 pigs and cannot be independently altered. Average litter weight is the average piglet weaned weight multiplied by the average number of piglets weaned per litter. The default value is 118.8 pounds, and it cannot be independently edited by the user. Once you've established weaning targets, click on Removal from the tree view. Females culled per year is the number of reproductive females sold, expressed as a percentage of the average reproductive female inventory for the specified period. The default value is 45%. Female deaths per year is the number of reproductive females who die while on the farm, expressed as a percentage of the average reproductive female inventory for the specified period. This default value is 9.5%. Female transferred off per year is the number of reproductive females moved from Farm A to Farm B within one system. This target is expressed as a percentage of the average reproductive female inventory for the specified period. The default value is 0. Once you've established all targets, select Reproductive Herd Cull Flags from the tree view. Cull flags are used to set warnings for reports, including sow cards. Animals are not removed once a cull flag has been reached. However, they will be flagged as a candidate for culling due to not performing to user-defined standards. Maximum returns to service is the highest number of repeat services per animal's lifetime. Once a sow has met this flag, it will be indicated on her sow card. The default value is 2 returns to service. Minimum live born per litter is the lowest acceptable number of pigs born alive per litter. When this number is reached, the sow card will be flagged, indicating the sow is a candidate for culling. The default value is 10 pigs. Minimum weaned per litter is the lowest average number of piglets weaned from each litter. The default value is 10 piglets. Maximum number of litters is the maximum number of litters a sow has farrowed. This is also equal to her parity. The default value is 8 litters. After you have established your reproductive herd cull flags, it is time to select your units of measurement for the program. You can choose units of measure from the tree view. Users can choose what units to use for weights and currency. Weight options include imperial and metric. Click on the circle in front of the desired option. Select the desired currency from the monetary units drop-down menu. If data has already been entered for the farm, units of measure and currency may not be able to be changed. Once the units of measurement have been established, select data entry settings from the tree view. The option you have is to enter piglets as a whole or by split sex. To enter the number of piglets born alive by sex, click in the checkbox in front of Enter live-born piglets split by sex. To enter the number of piglets weaned split by sex, click in the box in front of Enter weaned piglets split by sex. Once all targets and site settings have been established for the farm, click OK to save the settings. Please remember that targets and site settings are farm-specific. If you have more than one farm in the reproductive module, you will have to establish targets for each individual farm. This concludes this installment of PigCHAMP University. Written instruction for establishing targets and site settings can be found in the PigCHAMP user manual or the program help files. All help files can be accessed by pressing the F1 key on your keyboard from within the program or through the program's help menu. For additional support, please visit our website at www.pigchamp.com or send your technical questions via email to techsupport@pigchamp.com. You can also call our tech support staff at 866-774-4242 extension 64. Our team is available to assist you Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, excluding major U.S. holidays. Thank you for viewing this training video, and as always, thank you for choosing PigCHAMP.